Scottsdale 911.
We're asking the public to remain vigilant.
There was blood coming, dripping from her face.
The shooting on First Street is related.
She's covered in blood.
We can hear shots being fired.
Everyone was worried, and everyone was scared that they could be next.
As May turned to June, summer of 2018 in Scottsdale suddenly became frozen in time, trapped in the middle of murder after murder.
During those 5 days, it seemed like it was the longest days we've experienced ever.
Sergeant Hugh Lockerbie heads up Scottsdale PD's Violent Crimes Unit and didn't realize that May 31st would be the start of a nightmare.
Stephen Pitt, just his notoriety, his fame, that just really made this a very important case.
Police should be there any moment. Do you see a gun anywhere?
On that Thursday, Phoenix police responded to a man gunned down at an office building just outside North Scottsdale.
911.
We should have an officer pulling in.
That man was identified as world-renowned psychiatrist Stephen Pitt, but nobody knew why he would be targeted now until just hours later and not far away.
Driving my bus. There's a lady, she just came running up to me and she's bleeding.
The first few hours was very chaotic, a lot of moving pieces.
Oh my God, I don't even know if she's alive anymore.
Friday afternoon, 2 paralegals shot dead, Valeria Sharp and Laura Anderson. That's when a Scottsdale detective made an urgent call.
He called me immediately and he said, "Elizabeth, you need to come down to the office."
The paralegals worked in Elizabeth Feldman's law office. She had gone home early that day. And as detectives worked, they found something alarming.
It was a unique set of casings that were used in the law firm murders. Those same type of casings were the same ones found at the Stephen Pitt murder.
And Feldman made a connection.
I think one of the first questions was, what's the connection between your office and Pitt? And I would say the Jones case.
She had represented Connie Jones nearly a decade earlier in a divorce and custody case with her ex-husband, Dwight Jones. That's the only case Feldman shared with Dr. Pitt. Then that night,
Medic.
Let me get them on the line. Don't hang up.
Oh my God.
another body found.
About midnight, as we were wrapping up, kind of finishing up what we could do at the law firm murders, we heard on the police radio of officers responding to a shooting at a psychologist's office.
What's his name?
Marshall Levine.
In the early hours of June 2nd, police found life coach Marshall Levine murdered, and his office mate, Karen Colby, a therapist who treated Dwight's son.
They said, "Does the name Dwight Jones mean anything to you?" And the second they said it, I just looked at my husband who's sitting next to me and I said, "Oh my God, he was after me. He was looking for me."
Colby says she knew immediately Dwight was a problem.
It's a matter of when. It's a matter of when I'm going to read a headline that said that he went off. That's how dangerous I assumed he was.
Feldman Grenier.
Attorney Elizabeth Feldman was putting the pieces together. She made a call to her former client, the ex-wife of Dwight Jones.
I remember talking to her and Rick, and they said, "Do you realize that the third location is Karen Colby's office?" And that's when I said, well, it's obviously Dwight.
Feldman knew then she was the one Dwight wanted to kill and immediately went to Scottsdale police.
We had detectives that were actively looking for Dwight Jones, and it was more of intuition and luck that they came across his vehicle on Scottsdale Road.
They tracked his gold Mercedes to and from a home in Fountain Hills and back to an extended stay hotel in Scottsdale where his ex-wife said he lived. But officers decided to go to that Fountain Hills home to find out why he was going there. And what they found inside wasn't good.
When you guys located his car and located him, at that point you did not know that Brian and Mary had been killed.
That is correct.
They found Brian Thomas and Mary Simmons, an older couple, shot dead. They had no connection to his divorce or custody battle, but police discovered Dwight may have asked them for money, and they told him no. Jones' family was in hiding, so a detective flew by helicopter to get their DNA, and it matched evidence from the crime scenes. Police knew they needed to move in, and fast.
You need to go behind that building over there.
Now we can hear shots being fired.
In the morning, SWAT teams started evacuating guests at the extended stay hotel. But before they could get to Dwight, he shot out his window at officers, then took his own life.
Stop all northbound traffic. So they've got containment.
In his hotel room and car, they found documents all related to his divorce case. Names of people like Feldman and Colby, people he would seek out.
How did you feel when you found out he was dead?
Relieved. Really relieved.
Dwight's death left a lot of questions. The main one, why did he do this so many years later? Feldman had an answer for police.
It's hard to imagine what that would feel like sitting on the front lines of something like this. Still to come, Elizabeth Feldman puts the pieces together and answers the why. We'll be right back. Six lives lost at the hands of one man in a killing spree that lasted for days. Tonight, Karen Colby, an intended target, shares for the first time what she thinks landed her name on the gunman's kill list. And then there's the question of why.
And he would wait until my defenses were down. I felt that I had a personal terrorist.
Connie Jones hadn't been with her ex-husband for over a decade, but still, Dwight Jones chose to kill 6 people last year. Her attorney, Elizabeth Feldman, says the answer why lies in the bank. Connie had been fully supporting Dwight financially, but after 5 years, she was done paying alimony. But what we now know is Dwight contacted she and Feldman after that for an IRA payment.
And how much was that?
I want to say his portion was around 60 grand.
And that was given to him when?
I think it was given to him about January 2017.
So you think he ran out?
Yes.
That would be the only triggering point at this point of his life.
But something still doesn't sit well with Karen Colby. She was subpoenaed in April of 2010 to testify in court in front of Dwight about what his son had told her in their private therapy sessions.
When the attorney was asking me to show up in court with Dwight sitting there looking at me, testifying, I said, I am not comfortable with that.
She got her documents sealed by the custody negotiator and signed by a judge, then wrote an objection letter claiming testifying could put his son and herself in danger of Dwight.
I objected formally to the subpoena that I got to appear, and the response I got back was from the attorney and then approved by the judge was, too bad, you have to come anyway.
That attorney was Elizabeth Feldman.
But she was very resistant. And I understand that, personally, safety-wise, I even understand it professionally. The more willing she was, the better for our case. Did it put her in danger? Probably. It comes with the jobs in the situation. It comes with my job too.
Nothing was gained, and Dwight got a good look at me.
Both Feldman and Colby say the system is broken and left them in danger. Feldman says Dwight never should have been able to lawfully own a gun after a domestic violence arrest. Colby says in the family court structure, there's no protection for mental health professionals or their clients' confidential conversations. She says even though the case is closed, this is still a living hell.
This extreme kind of crushing guilt that I have felt has been a lot to work through.
And beyond the crime tape was always Sergeant Lockerbie, who will never be able to question Dwight. But a year later, maybe he's okay with that.
If you had a chance to say anything to Dwight Jones, what would you say to him?
I don't know. I mean, when you're dealing with a narcissistic sociopathic killer, I don't think there's one thing that I would want to say to him.
It's a real heavy topic.
It's rare you get such a deep look at a topic like that.
Absolutely. It was so dramatic, too, when it unfolded. We really got to take a more in-depth look at what these people, the detectives, the intended targets, were going through in these days. And amazingly, both Karen Colby and Elizabeth Feldman still work at the offices where these murders happened.
So what they not only went through, but what they're still going through today.
Yeah, they said it took a little while to find their passion for their professions again. Karen's still going through counseling to deal with some of that post-traumatic stress.
Brianna Whitney, great job on that. We're coming right back.